Hey, what's going on, guys? So the Carnival Voodoo Mask dropped last night. That's what this sexy beast right here is. So I want to make a quick video just to show you exactly how that works. And a lot of people were asking about it, so I figured I'd better do that. Pretty much the build is exactly the same for the most part as what I was running before with the pet builds. Pretty much just, we're still at that 2.72 attacks per second, so that Fire Bats ticks 6 times per second, which means you get 6 chances to summon a fetish from Fetish Sycophants. Everything else is pretty much the same, just because of the Carnival, which your fetishes shoot a poison dart every time you do, which is crazy. We're running a poison dart now. But here we're running Pyrogeist before. Obviously we're going to run Poison Dart now because of that. Now, the fetishes, they shoot just a vanilla dart. They don't shoot the rune that you do. So we're running Splinters right now for max damage from your own darts, but they just shoot regular darts. Also, I tested out a little bit. I just wanted to make sure. I mean, it stands to reason that the fetishes would the damage they do from their darts would be poison damage, but you never know with these kinds of things, so I wanted to test it out. But they are in fact doing poison damage, so we're actually rocking a 20% to poison damage on our amulet now. So we're losing out on a lot of crit chance here, so I went ahead and went with the red gem. I think that's better for the time being. Maybe if I get more crit chance to go with the attack speed that I have at the moment, a green gem might be better, but for now I think the red gem's better. And then as far as the rest of the build goes, I think everything is exactly the same, except I'm running Mass Confusion Paranoia here instead of Wrathful Protector for just a little bit more damage on Elite and Champion packs. But the build overall plays pretty much the same. I'm still going to be using my Vampire Bats quite a bit just because that gets me the most fetishes out that I possibly can. Now at some point in time, if I were to drop, say, 2 more pieces of the new Zuni set to where my fetish army lasts until they die, that would mean I would have 8 fetishes out all the time. At that point, I may just completely drop Vampire Bats and just go with Poison Dart as my main damage and just spam that all the time. Because at that point, you're going to have 8 out constantly because they very rarely die. And then you're probably going to have out another 5 to 6 the majority of the time from the passive. Now just to clarify, the 4-piece is your fetish army, which means that's the fetish army rune, lasts until they die. The ones from the passive do not live until they die. Those will still die after 60 seconds. So just to clarify that, it's fetish army, not fetishes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, everything is about the same for the most part. We have a little bit less crit chance because of that amulet, but everything else is pretty similar. So let me get out some fetishes real quick to just show you exactly what it looks like. We'll get about 10 to 15 real quick. Now also, there's a pair of gloves that increases the attack speed of your pets by 40%. Just to clarify that too, that would do absolutely nothing for this particular build because the fetishes, how quickly they attack is solely based on how quickly you attack, because they're going to shoot a dart every time you shoot one. So get out about 10 to 15 of these little dudes real quick. And yeah, the single target damage is just absolutely through the roof now with this build. It's really sick. The AoE is pretty much the same as it was before, and now the single target is just way better. So this is what it looks like. You can kind of, like the farther out you put your cursor, the more like in a kind of streamlined it's going to be. If you shoot them a little bit closer in, you can kind of fan them out. So there's a little bit of strategy involved in like how exactly you want to shoot them. Most of the time you're going to shoot them in kind of a streamline like that though. But yeah, it's pretty insane, man. It looks pretty goddamn cool. Alright, let's see. Let's go to Royal Crypts. Go to Cathedral level 4. Do a little fighting here real quick. I just want to show you exactly how quick this melts a champion pack. It's pretty nuts. A lot of times we're still going to be channeling Fire Bats though. We just want to make sure that we have out, you know, around 10 fetishes at any given time. And Fire Bats is the best way to do that. I'm also at the moment running Horrify, Stalker just for speed, just so I move around the map quicker. That's all there really is to that. You definitely run Soul Harvest in that place instead. See how fast that is? That is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But the Horrify Stalker, I mean, that could be anything you guys want to run. Soul Harvest is definitely a good alternative there. Where the elite packs at? Let's go back the other way. Yeah, this is probably the coolest helmet in the game, in my opinion, man. It looks the coolest. It's got a sick transmog to it. In Reaper of Souls, I pretty much transmogged like everything to this helmet. It looks so cool. And the ability is just really, really awesome. Now, when Reaper of Souls hits, it's going to be a little bit harder to get as high attacks per second as we can right now in the live game, but builds like this are still going to be very viable. It's going to be a little bit more reliant on having that 4-piece Zuni set, though, I think. As you can see, though, the single target is just nuts. Now, there is some buggy things. For instance, I'm assuming this is a bug. I actually don't know for a fact that it is, but I'm assuming so. If you were to use your Fetish Army rune, whenever you summon your Fetish Army, the fetishes from your passive die. They despawn and die every time. I'm assuming that's a bug, but I'm not positive of it. It's something that I've reported a few times. It's something I noticed in beta, and it's still doing it in live servers. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's always been like that, and I just never really tested it, and it's supposed to be. It's working as intended. Because I never really got a reply back about it, so I'm not positive. But the other thing, too, is sometimes when your fetishes get into melee range, and then you start to shoot your darts, they continue to just attack in melee, which the majority of the time isn't a big problem. The problem with that comes into play when you're stacking the poison damage, because the majority of the time they're going to be doing physical damage in melee, but when they shoot the darts, they're doing poison. So if you're stacking a lot of poison damage and they get into melee range and they're attacking in melee, you're missing out on the damage from your poison. Like right now, it's an extra 20% to damage, which seems, I'm not quite sure it's like an exact, like that translates to exactly 20% more damage to their darts, but it almost seems like it does, just from my preliminary testing with it. Now, it's probably not quite an exact translation of 20% damage, but it feels like it is. That may be a bug, that may not be working as intended, because pretty much when it comes to pets, they get your stats, but they don't get exactly your stats, and normally it's like a percentage of what stats you have. So, again, I'm not quite sure. I feel like this particular helmet has a lot of buggy things going on with it, but hopefully we can get those worked out, you know, before the release of the game, before the release of the expansion. Alright, so let's see how fast we can kill this pack. These guys are health links, so they might actually take a little bit longer. Yeah, let's just do this. AoE's gonna be better on these. Another thing you gotta take into consideration too is every time you shoot a dart, they're going to stop moving and just sit there and shoot a dart. So you gotta make sure you position yourself properly. It's very easy to position improperly and they'll be like behind a wall or something. You know, like say I walk through here and there's something right here I want to attack. Three of those fetishes right there are just going to shoot darts into the wall. So you got to be wary of that kind of thing too. Absolutely wrecked that goblin. That's only with like 5 fetishes out at the moment as well. And this is Torment 4 that we're running currently. I think with proper gearing, especially if I had the 4-piece Zuni, I think we could do Torment 6 actually pretty easily with good DPS. Like I said, I think you can have out a good 13 to 15 fetishes out at any given time if you do have that 4-piece Zuni. And also, it's pretty much all just range. So Torment 6 should be pretty easy, I would think. I would probably run something with some pets just to kind of keep things at bay. We would probably honestly run an entirely pet build, I think, for Torment 6 with a Gargantuan rune and a zombie dog's rune. So We'll do some more testing as time goes on. I have 2 pieces of Zuni at the moment. I've got the string and the Morrow. So basically I need to get a Pox and a Trail because I can't use the Vision because of the helmet. But once I do that, hopefully we can do a little bit of testing with that kind of stuff. So anyways guys, that's the build. It's really, really fun. One more time, this is the helmet just to show you real quick. I really, really enjoy it, man. When the helmet dropped on stream yesterday for me, I about lost my mind. I think and anybody that was using headphones in my stream yesterday probably is deaf today. So anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.